Blessings. Okay. Welcome back to Life's Place, right? Thank y'all for all the likes, the loves, the shares, and the subscribes too. I appreciate it. I appreciate the views too. And you know, like the subscribes is going up and I'm happy. Yay. But yo, this one is about the what was my thought? Dang it came that quick. That's why I just start talking, right? But this one is about the energy that really is mad at you because of your beliefs. I know I said this in a video or in a live one of these past couple of days, but this one is about the one that really is mad and upset about your beliefs, and they feel as though that you should not get what you deserve because you work for it because of your beliefs. The one that feel as though that they're more spiritual than you, and or they're more religious than you, and their God is way bigger than yours and all that shit. So they feel justified for trying to shit destroy your life. The one that want to do an honor killing, but they don't fucking know you and have no honor really to really honorably murk you themselves because their beliefs just don't line up with yours, or your beliefs just don't line up with theirs, right? It's like you could wear a bikini top, because it's hot outside, and because you want to get a tan and you put on some jeans and shit, to go rock your outfit, you dress it up, but to somebody else that's connected to you don't like that shit. They think that you's a slore. You out there shelling it to everybody. And they don't want nobody to come around you. Even know that somebody else in their crew, somebody else in their family wore that same bikini top and shit like that. That's where the double standard comes in. Just because it's you, and you won't go to their church, or you don't go to their church, or you ain't connected to nobody. So who the hell is you? They're gonna call you whatever the hell they want to call you, and they're gonna get all their church folk, they're gonna get all their peoples, they know everybody at the corner store and shit, everybody at the coffee shop that they travel to. It's all gonna understand that because you wore that bikini top, it was pretty, you dressed it up and shit. It's you a whore. You selling it. Meanwhile, somebody else is, in they family, they friends or they crew, somebody else at the coffee shop that they know, is wearing that shit, and they're like, oh, that shit is so cute, it's all right with you. I like the way you put it together. And they could have on the same exact outfit as you. But the earrings is different. They probably put on some different earrings. They probably had on a different bracelet and shit. Or maybe they put on a ring. They toenail polish is different. But because it was you, you were sure. You were more for you selling to everybody and shit. Because your beliefs is different. You had on the same outfit. You carry yourself a whole lot differently. This one's loud as fuck. They're like, oh yeah, thank you, da, 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 about they shit. But thank you. Because they dissed you. They gave you an ill remark that didn't even compliment you, but you compliment yourself because you dress yourself for yourself, right? They dress for everybody else, so they want that attention. Cool, get that. But those are the same type that will put their beliefs over your beliefs because of the fact that they believe their belief is more believable than yours. The ones that do hide under the guise of a facade that says they believe in this, they believe in the Most High, but they can label you anything else because they hide behind a facade of the Most High. But the Most High said you don't have to be perfect, just come as you are, right? Come as you are. You don't have to be dressed up. You don't gotta have the best hat. You ain't gotta have the best car. You don't gotta have the best house. The belief is come as you are, unless in their tablets, in their booklets, in their Bibles, or whatever else, whatever papers they studying off of, somebody told them they had to dress up. They had to have the big fancy cars. They had to have the biggest houses. They had to have 500 rooms. And only people, there's only like 5 people in there. But that's what they needed. That's what they God said that they had to have. There's some guys that said that you would have 72 virgins if you kill one person. It's different types of guys for everybody, but it is one big God for everybody. But it depends on who it is that you're actually learning from, because they can actually teach you the word, but teach you the word in a way which it benefits them, not you. It will manipulate you into believing that what they say is true because of their beliefs, because of what they believe in, and what you believe in doesn't matter, you know, because they got this, and that with everybody. And their God said they have to have a big house. Their God says they have to have a big cars, they have to have tons of people. But all books say come as you are, it says nobody got to be perfect. But to some people, you got to be perfect for them. You know, you can't have the same outfit because you're not going to get the same definition from somebody else. You're not going to get the same daggone compliments from nobody else, even if you're not dressing for nobody else but yourself. But because you believe differently, or you ain't trying to impress nobody, or you ain't trying to break your back for nobody, you ain't trying to kiss nobody ass, you just impressing yourself. Some people got a problem with that. Some people feel as though that you hoity-toity because you ain't bothered by trying to impress nobody. You ain't trying to do no shows. You ain't trying to sit there and get everybody's attention. You ain't trying to go after the hottest fucking male. You ain't trying to go to the hottest baddest bitch. You ain't trying to do that. You just trying to be you. But because you ain't trying to seek no attention from certain people, or to do any tricks for certain people, or to sit up there and show up the places where certain people is at, who is you? They can label you. They can talk about you. They can try to drain you. So anybody that connects to you, they try to drain them too, you know, just so that you don't have that favor, you know, of people coming around you. That's the same one that don't want no love around you and keep whispering in their mouth every time. I wish for you never to have love. And then they find out why they so lonely, why nobody wants to come around them. You gotta let people do as they do, yo. Because of the fact that you choose the happiness for you. You choose to seek abundance above yourself, where you're not thinking of the poverty that you've been in. You're not thinking of the struggles you've been in. Those are the lessons that you learned, where you know what? Those are the times that you had to keep on surviving. Those are the times you had to keep saving yourself. So anybody else saying anything else outside of what it is that you believe in yourself to move you through, push you through, don't really know. There's no real matter as to what they say about you, or what they say to you, or what it is that they try to do to you, because they believe in the Most High. Well, they believe in the power that to deter you from your path because of your beliefs, to label you something else other than who you are without knowing you because of your beliefs, is some need to be studied. But to some people, it's justified for them to do something to you, to say something about you, to treat you in a way because of your own beliefs, even though you treat people how you want to be treated. But they just can't treat you the same way. You can't. They can't treat you with the respect. They can't treat you with the trust. They can't treat you with no loyalty, because you are not a part of who and who. You're not a part of that group. You're not a part of this group. You're not a part of their family. You're not a part of their friend. You know, but because you just choose you, it's a problem because they can't control you. That's what it is. Damn, because they can't control you. They can't dominate you. They can't move you. Shit, I started this thing with this live with. Sometimes it's the mama that keeps the toxic relationships together, just cause they can drain. I put just cause they can drain her sons through the daughters-in-law, that they can rule under her thumbs of handling business her way. I can split that in so many ways, yo. It's like the one that baby trapped the man, but the baby's not even his. But in order for everybody to get money, the mama got to get in it too, and the whole family is in it, to keep the man believing that the child is his, to keep the money coming in. That's a lot of work, yo. And then now we see why movies be shown in a whole bunch, depending on how far you dig deep into YouTube, the algorithm changes to some shit, yo. But this ties in with the previous live, with the STIs outside of the STDs. And then it falls in line with be careful who you have. Damn, how is who watching me? You gotta let folks nickel and dime themselves to the highest bidder for that quick fix, for a temporary high, for a temporary high. Gotta let folks chase what they are, as most don't value who they are. Meanwhile, True wealth takes time to build with patience, truth, and the true value of you. Okay. Um, how am I piecing this together? It's because it's like I know all my baby fathers and I'm cool with them, right? Even if they're not there. It's just like self sufficiency versus codependency and independency. I think this is where this live is going now. From this, it's a learned thing. It's learned. It's a learned, grown, conditioned mindset that I don't know if the shit picked it up, but one of my children's tablets says "shut up," but I'm pretty sure that's what the energy is too. Uh, to shut up about the energy that's being explained. But I'm pretty sure nothing. I'm talking on live, but uh, it's you know, this damn. You know how the conversations just wrangle in your head? Well, in my head, it goes off, right? And trying to get the conversation at the table that I'm not invited to, but I'm just listening, right? It's like being at a crowded restaurant and you got your table, you sitting at the table, but you could hear everybody's conversation all at the same time, but none of them is really making sense, but you can hear the words, right? But you still, because you're in full concentration of your own shit, your own meal. Maybe you watching something, or maybe you listening to something, or you just listening to the quiet, right? But it's like really honing in on like a conversation where it's a mindset, you know? It's Eve sitting at the table in pieces because of how many times she's been broken, but at the same time, she was made to accept and submit. But she was made with no heart. Sometimes it's the mama that keeps the toxic relationships together just because they can drain her sons through the daughters in law, that they can rule under her thumbs of handling business her way. Previous lives was she's running off a playbook to groom. So that must be one of the chapters. And now this is why we have DNA at birth. Why is this even in my daggone energy? Because I know all of my minds. So who's in my energy that's questioning themselves? Who am I connected to that's not connected today? Who the fuck? It's a playbook. It's a sheet in the. You know how some people have. It's a whole bunch of how-to books out there. How to be a man, how to be a player, and all that shit. It's in the playbook. I just never picked up that fucking book because there's just no reason to play anybody. It's a life. But again, different mindsets, different grooming aspects. No hate, no judge, because we've all grown up different ways. And we all grow up to learn a lot of ways. But then we all outgrow ways, to learn our own way, to make a way. But at the same time, it's like, when you can turn off an idea for a thought from a thought, and that right there just spurned off so many thoughts as to the tables, conversations getting louder to the point that you can hear the conversations as if they talking to you. And I don't want to touch that subject because that's a hurtful subject because that's generations. That's literally dating back from the times that we was corralled and cattled around, as per the story, for the farming of the. And they made movies on this shit too, where it was just the funding, because back in the 80s, it was to take the male out the house for that, the homosexuality project to start, because they started feeding the streets crack because PCP was getting too, like they were being, people was getting immune to it. So they had the crack where and the women were at home with the children, and that's when the man came in with the welfare and the food stamps. That's when the food stamps was paid for. He was able to go to the Chinese restaurants, and I think it was like the liquor store where you could change it for some cash and food. But it's like the whole aspect of it was, the whole experiment was to do the same things as back then, where populators had wherever you call home, and she would either introduce another male to the home. That's where Uncle Otis came in. But no, he was never really the uncle type of shit. Well, shit, it probably was. Who knows? Bless you. But some of the children wasn't the children, but everybody had to agree that was the children type of shit. So it wasn't. It isn't a playbook of Eve on how to keep. But then there's generations of heartlessness through bitterness and spitefulness and greed. This gotta be a topic. I'm gonna form something. Let me think something. I'll be back. The most I got you. It's like, how the subject is so strong. There's depth to that, yo. It's like, so it's too deep in the roots to really dig in there to know that it has more roots than it is. It's like the oak tree where the roots just really going everywhere. It could span blocks and shit, right? Depending on the width and everything. It's a beautiful tree. It's there for a reason. But to clean out the gunk and shit, to like really dig deep into the roots, to the bottom of the roots, you'll know that there's some dead parts that get cut off and shit like that. And that's the generational curses off the tree, like off the roots of the tree. So that it's not carrying into, because you're not feeding it no more. It's just there. But when you plant, you got to cut off the dead roots or just take it off just so that it can bring all the nutrients to the plant. It's just the same thing. It's just the deadened part where the playbook is just being played over and over again, but it's still generations being repeated over and over again to play the same book over and over again, to the point that the well wishes of others, as though it's not getting dampened, but it's just, ah, it's an awakening to another layer of clarity, because it is an unfolding to opening eyes that comes into your energetic circle or energetic grid, into your square. So what lessons you already went through will be mirrored to the one that's going through the lessons that's being projected at them, to not see the lessons. Okay. When you are a mirror to, damn, we are all a mirror to one another, right? Where you either the lesson or the blessing. And those that come into your energetic grid will either see you as the lesson or a blessing. And some do see you as the lesson first before they realize that you are the blessing. That's when people walk away from you, right? After, I guess it's like when you give them some advice or something, they don't take it the right way or something like that. But years later or down the line, they'll come back and say, hey, Sometimes they don't do it, but some people do. Sometimes you get that mysterious letter or something, right? But you meet people at the time where they're aligned to you to meet you. Because the Most High put people in people in our places just to open us up to something else new. Like that's like going to another country where you're gonna see that's like a new layer to your eyes to see something new. That's a new sense for you. You're gonna smell something different. You're gonna taste something different. So your palate is it gets stronger and it's more. It's more you're more palatable to different tastes, and that's opening up to your senses, which opens up your brain. So now you're more expansive when it comes to everything around you. So those that really want, those that are aligned to you are looking to expand too, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, because of the boxed views that they've been living in. Oh, so what part of you are they actually reflecting upon? What part of you are they actually projecting that you're reflecting back that serves them the clarity? Then more than likely they'll come back and say that they got the clarity. This shit's annoying. It's another charge. Those are charges. Those are charges when it comes to they need you to charge too. We all get charges. We all get people that inadvertently need something from you that'll teach them something when it comes to what you've already experienced or what you already been through. So how all this shit line up? Some folk think that they are bigger than the program, but come to find out that they're no longer in any season to any program. This is the tree root. Sometimes we get advice from those that are bitter. And it's sad that it is in our line where you're the one that's most hurt because of your decision to choose for you and what path you want for you that really is not going to have the people that can't elevate with you, because some people feel as though that they are bigger than the program, using their titles and positions, using the trust, respect, and loyalty that you have for them against you. Those are the ones that want their choices to be your decision, for your integrity to be thrown under the bus, for their decisions to be your choice. But the very same one that will hug you and love you like they never did on your very first day that you go into prison will be the very same one that will act the whole fool on the first day of your wait. Is the first one that will act the whole fool and the whole donkey using titles and position, and your trust, loyalty, and respect for them to murder people. Damn. Murk them by way of emotional distress. Murk them in a way of toxicity, negativity, stress. The one that will slowly brainwash your children into believing that you're a piece of shit. That's the mama. Or anybody. It can't even just be them. It could be any type of person that promotes the toxicity, that engages in the negativity, that bless you, that wants to keep everybody toxic together because it's a family. Y'all friends. Who cares if they lied on you? Who cares if they cheated 500 times? Who cares if they don't love you? Who cares if that ain't the children? If they ain't your children? Who cares if I lied type of shit? I'm the mama. I'm the daddy. I'm the sister. I'm the cousin. I'm the auntie. I'm the wife. I'm the husband. Even though in your gut you know they lying. Some folk will never know the value of their own light and sacrifice their own soul for a piece of someone else's light. That's all that it is, really. And that's the last card. I'm gonna close it out. Folks want to embarrass you behind closed doors so no one hears the bullshit, but more afraid of the truth being spoken in public, out loud, really. Some folk live so lively in their illusions that they believe that to be wealthy, you must be snooty, pompous, and an asshole. But they're getting paid through somebody else that has to manipulate another person in order to get that, but at the same time wonder why they still unhappy. They're getting their means by ill means. They're getting their gains by ill means and ill intentions. Therefore, they have to repeat and rewind the cycle in order for them to feel some type of temporary contention. Anyways, y'all, note the most I got you. I'm off this shit. Bye.